What if the criminal in this story had 4 legs? Imagine a veteran struggling to find his next meal. Then his dog disappears. A few minutes later, the dog comes back carrying something he wasn't supposed to have. He was stealing, but there was one problem with calling him a thief. He wasn't stealing for himself. And by the end of this story, you'll understand why that single act of desperation became a mission of hope. Meet Scout, a loyal dog, a determined dog, and according to the people watching him, a thief. Every day, Scout would leave his struggling veteran companion and disappear into the neighborhood. Then he would return carrying food. But what was he taking and why? Was Scout simply hungry? Was he acting on instinct? Or had he somehow recognized something his human companion couldn't solve alone? We're going to come back to Scout. But first, we need to understand something about survival, because sometimes the most important battle begins after the uniform comes off. For a service member, life in uniform can provide structure. There is a mission, there is a team, there is a purpose. Then one day, the uniform comes off, the mission changes, and sometimes the battlefield is no longer overseas. Sometimes it's an empty refrigerator, a difficult transition, a job that disappeared, a neighborhood without easy access to affordable, nutritious food, or simply the feeling that the world has moved on without you. But here's the question: what happens to a warrior's instinct to protect when the warrior is the one who needs help? That's where dogs become more than pets. They become companions, they become witnesses, and sometimes they become protectors. Dogs have spent thousands of years living alongside humans. They watch, they listen, they react. A dog can notice a sound before you do, a movement you didn't see, a change in someone's behavior. And when danger appears, some dogs don't stop to calculate the odds, they react. Imagine a veteran suddenly facing a dangerous animal. For a moment, everything slows down. The fear, the uncertainty, the instinct to protect. Training may take over, but so can something just as powerful: loyalty. And that loyalty works both ways. A veteran protects the dog protects the veteran. But what happens when the danger isn't a bear? What happens when the danger is hunger? We usually think of danger as something we can see: a charging animal, a cliff, a storm, a freezing night. But hunger is different. You can't always see it coming. There may be no siren, no warning, no dramatic explosion, just an empty shelf, an unpaid bill, a person quietly skipping another meal. And that's why this story matters, because the dog didn't need to understand economics. He didn't need to understand food insecurity. He only needed to understand one thing: his human needed help. But before we return to Scout, consider what happens when dogs become guardians in other moments of crisis. A puppy stranded in a dangerous place, a child lost in freezing weather, a frightened family, a person in trouble. These stories all share the same emotional question: will someone come back? And dogs often give us the answer we hope for. They stay, they search, they wait, they follow, they refuse to leave. That's why the bond between veterans and service animals can be so powerful. Both understand something about responsibility, both understand routine, and both can become deeply attached to the idea that the person beside them matters. But there's another side to this bond. Sometimes a veteran doesn't just need a dog to protect him. Sometimes he needs the dog to remind him that he still matters too. And remember Scout, we still haven't answered the question from the beginning. What was this so-called thief stealing? Keep that question in mind, because the answer changes the entire story. Imagine a veteran who once spent his life protecting others. Now imagine that same person feeling invisible. No mission, no unit, no clear objective, just another day, trying to get through another day. Then he sees something that stops him: a dog struggling, a vulnerable animal being ignored, and suddenly something familiar comes back, the instinct to act, the instinct to protect, because sometimes helping someone else is the first step toward remembering how to help yourself. That's the turning point. Not because the problem disappears, but because purpose returns. And not every dog story has to be dramatic. Sometimes dogs remind us that life can still be funny. The dog who suddenly becomes deaf when it's bath time, but can hear a treat bag open from 3 rooms away. The dog who looks completely innocent after knocking something over. The dog who believes every sandwich, taco, pizza, or steak on earth was personally prepared for him. These moments may seem small, but that's the point. After difficult experiences, small moments of joy matter. A laugh matters, companionship matters, and sometimes a dog's ridiculous behavior can remind someone that life isn't only about surviving, it's also about living. Now let's go back to Scout, the dog who kept disappearing, the dog who kept returning, the dog everyone called a thief. But here's where the story changes. Scout wasn't searching for something valuable to sell. He wasn't looking for a toy. He wasn't trying to cause trouble. He was looking for something much more important. Food. Scout's crime wasn't about greed, it was about loyalty. He was bringing food back to his struggling human companion, and suddenly the word thief doesn't sound quite right anymore, because sometimes an act can look completely different when you understand the reason behind it. From the outside, a dog was stealing. From the inside, a companion was trying to save his human. And that is the real lesson. The uniform may come off, the mission may change, but the instinct to protect doesn't necessarily disappear. But here's the part of the story that matters most. We should never have to depend on a dog stealing food to make sure a veteran eats. That is where community comes in. Food insecurity is not solved by one heroic moment. It is solved by people deciding that veterans should not be forgotten. It can mean food donations, community partnerships, sustainable food projects, training, mentorship, and simply asking one important question. Does the veteran next door have what he needs tonight? Maybe your Scout was never really the thief. Maybe the real thing being stolen was something else. Hope, purpose, dignity. And when the community finally notices, those things can begin to come back. One meal, one conversation, one act of kindness, one veteran at a time. Because heroes don't stop being heroes simply because the uniform comes off. Sometimes they just need someone to stand beside them. And sometimes that someone has 4 legs. If you believe no veteran should have to wonder where their next meal is coming from, become part of the mission. Subscribe, share this video, and if you can, support our effort to help provide meals and resources to veterans and their families. Your view creates attention. Your share creates reach. And that reach can help turn awareness into action. We don't need every veteran to have a Scout. We need a community willing to make sure veterans don't have to depend on one. The uniform comes off, the mission continues.